Hello and welcome, Guardians. This is your friendly neighborhood Anompig, and I'm here to tell you about my favorite alien race, the Elixni. Fallen for you Lorderet. More importantly, their houses, history, and more directly, the one member still wearing the banners of a house lost. In this glorious DLC, the House of Wolves, we learned quite a bit about them. There are 7 Elixni houses that we currently know, each with their own agenda. The ones we know well are the Kings, Devils, and Winter, as well as now more personally, the Wolves, Judgment, and Rain. Now I know, I forgot those crazy ones on the moon, but that is because I don't think that the last house is what they used to be. Early on in Destiny, I bought the game guide from Prima Games, which gave me access to knowledge that is entirely irrelevant now thanks to all the nerfs and buffs. But this did, however, give me a little insight. The House of Exile wasn't listed. I was curious because it's clearly in the game, but there was one that wasn't in the game, even after this DLC. The Shattered House. So who are the Shattered House? Well, I think it must be obvious that I think that they're the original name for the House of Exile, but what caused them to break? Could it have been a civil war? Something so apparently popular with our alien races? But we'll get into that in just a moment. First, let's look at something else important, like what Varric says in the Kell of Kells about the Exiles. He may seek to gather the Exiles, but they will not follow. They follow none. No Kell, no Archon. Now this sounds really familiar to another thing said about everyone's favorite new mercenary, Taniks, free of any Kell's rule. But what was the House of Exile before they were shattered? This is hinted at in Varric's the Loyal. Cannot keep wolves from kings, Scar from winter, fell to fighting, fell to hate. So if the 7 Elixni houses are, or were, Devils, Rain, Kings, Scar, Winter, Wolves, and Judgment, then that explains why we see nothing of Scar now. It can't be a surprise to anyone where I'm going with this, Taniks the Scarred being a clever jab at his house, as well as how augmented he is now. But pay attention to his cloak, his banner. It's not new. I believe that Taniks is the last remaining member of the House of Scar, but also that the House of Exile is what remains of their kind. Broken by attacks from both sides, the Exiles cling to them. What does this mean for Exile in the long run? Will they continue to just cling what they can grab without Kell, without Archon? And what are they without a Prime? We see that the Wolves have taken control of 2, technically 3 Primes. Their original Calyx, their new Calyx Reborn, and the Merchur Orbix Prime. Could it be that the Merchur Orbix Prime was once that of Scar, lost in the destruction of their house? But if that's the case, then how did the Exile live without their healthy supply of ether? I think Calyx, the real Calyx, set up shop with them. But back on point, Taniks is now dead, by our hand, but was he truly the only one to cling to the past? Or will there be another? I think someday soon, the House of Scar will rise again. All the houses are weaker now, with the exception of Kings, so who's to stop them? Is there a secret cult of Scar hidden on the moon? Well, why don't you tell me?